Hello, my name is Bobby and I'm Wacky, and welcome back to another Wacky Fact Wednesday. This is week 73. Let's get right into it. So this week's suggestion comes from a new person, DJ.com. DJ.com, and that was top 5 favorite sports movies of all time. So, new suggestion, new person that I've never seen before on my channel, so welcome us and thank you for suggesting it. So, top 5 favorite sports movies of all time. Let's do this. We'll start off quick. We're gonna go through this quick because I'm trying to make these videos quicker, less edited, and more fluid. So, number 1 is The Natural. You've probably heard of it if you're a baseball fan and like are into baseball movies, sports movies or something. It's an old one from well before it's not an old one, but it's, in my terms, it's old. It's like 30 something years old at this point. It was released in the 80s, I'm pretty sure. I saw it, I guess, maybe a couple times. It's, without spoiling too much, it's about a guy or about a kid who's like really good at baseball, really good, and he's on his way to try out for an MLB team, I forget which one, and he gets shot by someone, and like someone purposefully shot him because they didn't want him to succeed or something. It's complicated. Anyway, 16 years pass and he's like older now, but he still follows his dream and plays for major league team and starts winning. So that's the premise of the movie. I just really like it. No particular reason. I just think it's a really good movie. So do many critics. It's a really good movie. So I highly recommend watching it. So number 1 is The Natural. Number 2 is also another old one, at least in my terms. Field of Dreams you've definitely heard of Field of Dreams, even if you know nothing about baseball. You've heard of Field of Dreams, and you've probably quoted it several billion times in your life. It's I don't even have to explain it. I don't even have to go into any plot of what the movie is about because you know what it is. But it's probably it's definitely my favorite sports movie of all time. Might be one of my favorite movies, period. So, Field of Dreams is number 2. Number 3 is Rocky. Rocky. I also don't have to explain this. He's a boxer from Philadelphia. I'm from Philadelphia. How can I not love Rocky? Nice underdog story. Rocky has become like a key sports icon, a key Philadelphia sports icon, even though he's fictional. He doesn't actually exist. He's still like a key Philadelphia sports icon. I just love Rocky. The original Rocky was great. So that's why it's one of my favorite sports movies of all time, because boxing movies are sports movies, sort of. Even though Rocky, spoiler alert, loses at the end of the first movie, it's still one of the best sports movies of all time, and I have a personal connection to it. Philadelphia sports fan. Number 3 is Rocky. Number 4 is sort of a newer one. I mean, it came out, I was born, I lived when this came out, so that in terms of me, that's a pretty new one. Miracle. It's based on true story, actually. The Miracle on Ice, which you probably heard of, in the Soviet Union versus the United States in the Winter Olympics at Lake Placid. You've definitely heard of, if not the movie, the actual event, The Miracle on Ice. I just like the movie based on it, because it's pretty crazy story, and it is based on a true story, and that's kind of crazy to think about. Like, those things usually only happen in movies, but no, they happen in real life, those types of Cinderella stories. So that's another reason why I like that movie so much. That's another reason why it's one of my top 5 favorite sports movies of all time is Miracle. And that's probably, if Field of Dreams is not my favorite sports movie, then Miracle definitely is. It's like 1 and 2. Those are neck and neck. I think it's the same with like everyone. Everyone loves Miracle. Who doesn't love the Miracle on Ice, you know? So if you're American, at least. If you're Russian, I don't know. But anyway, yeah. Number 4 is Miracle, and number 5, the final one on this list, but not my least favorite or my favorite, Rocky 4. It's another Rocky movie. Rocky 4 is, in my opinion, the best Rocky movie. Yeah, that's all I gotta say about that. Rocky 4, I know you've probably seen Rocky 4 as well. Rocky 3 wasn't too good. Rocky 4, however, yeah, I think is the best one ever. Spoiler alert, coming ahead. So obviously there's this, it's again between the US and Russia, so depending on which country you're from, you might have a different opinion on this movie, but it was more Soviet Union than like modern day Russia, so maybe you'll agree with me a little bit. But there's this like machine of a man, Ivan Drago, who is like this huge built guy. They basically inject him with a ton of steroids and everything, and he's like super crazy good boxer. Him and Apollo Creed fight towards the beginning of the movie. He kills Apollo Creed. Apollo Creed dies in the fight, which is like Rocky's best friend, even though those are the two people that fight in the first 2 movies. They become best friends. And then Apollo Creed dies, so Rocky basically says, alright, fine, coming out of retirement to fight Drago. He goes to Russia, trains. He trains in the, in natural... He doesn't use a gym or any fancy technology to train. He just trains by, like, chopping down trees and, like, running miles. And whereas Drago trains with all this modern-day technology and things like that. Rocky ends up winning, obviously, so that's another, like, great underdog story and revenge story, so that's kind of why it's one of my favorite sports movies of all time. So that is my list. Top 5 favorite sports movies of all time. We have The Natural, Field of Dreams, Rocky, Miracle, and Rocky 4. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments below, as well as suggesting next week's topic. If you want to suggest it, leave it in the comments if you have an idea for a top 5 list. Let me know in the comments below, and I might use it next week. You never know. That rhymed. How about that? But yeah, let me know, and I'll use it for next week's. Until then, adios.